Hey, Center football fans. This is Terry. Doing with Rob. Rob's not here. Rob wasn't able to make the trip down here with us for the NFL draft. Caleb decided to make other plans. He is a youngster, so he had better things to do than to hang out with his old man and his mom. But just me and Teresa made the trip down here, and I'm going to try to wing it by myself tonight because I promised everybody a NFL draft pre-draft podcast. And we threw out 4 Twitter polls, and that's pretty much what I'm going to go over with everybody and share with everybody. I know that y'all all can read it, and you probably have read it and read people's posts and comments on it, but I'm going to try to give my comments on it, and hope you agree. And if you don't, we're Sooner fans and we get along anyway. The first one I want to go over is Mark Andrews. He is predicted as a solid second-round pick, and we ask what round will he be drafted in. We asked people to leave comments. We had 60% of the votes ended up with a solid second round. 3% said that he would drop to the third round, and 37% said he'll move up to the first round. In my travels down here and the reading I did earlier today, trying to stay caught up on the draft, and trying to get things ready for tonight, to say something that made a little bit of sense, was that he's pretty much going to probably be the second round pick. Solid. Nobody thinks he's going to move up. Not many people think he will. There's a chance in hell that he'll move down. Thank God. But most people predicting that he's going to go to Jacksonville, and which will probably be a good fit for him. Although, as some of you already know, I'm a Steelers fan, and last year I wasn't a big fan of Jacksonville because basically they put a thumping on us twice, on the Steelers twice. So, but I think that'll probably be a good fit. It's a good offense. Plus, he'll be reunited with Dede Westbrook, who's done a really good job up there. So I agree with what everybody has said. Everybody, I think, agrees that he's a good, solid second-round pick. I think in the long term, he'll probably end up doing better than what a second-round pick should, but he should be able to have a great career in the NFL. My personal opinion, he came out early. There was a lot of people early on when he came out that said, hey, if he stayed another year, he could develop a little bit more. That's hard to believe because he's a massive mountain as it is. But, he decided it's in his best interest to come out. I think he could have probably improved in some other areas and, probably got himself into the first round. But, hey, second round, you get to go live your dream. Go for it. But Mr. Andrews, all the Sooner Nation wishes you the best of luck tomorrow. All right, and we're going to go on to Obo, which he is predicted a third or fourth round pick. And we ask if he would go sooner than that. Now, here's the thing about Obo. Nobody questions his ability to rush the edge and even cover. He's got a lot of speed. Especially quick burst speed. The issue is, we've heard this before on other players that we're going to actually talk about here in a little bit, is his size. He's not real big. His intangibles is his speed and his quickness. But the choices were that that he would go sooner than the third or fourth round. Then I would say third or fourth round he would go later, and then the other option, which was one of my favorites, it doesn't matter, he's a beast. The over 53% believe that he will go before the third or fourth round. 19% said right at the third or fourth round. 25% said it doesn't matter, he's a beast. I think he's probably going to stick to that, probably the third round, just my opinion. Sources, I know when I say sources, it doesn't mean I got somebody calling me. It means I just went digging through the internet like we all can, are saying that he's probably going to go to the Titans. again, probably going to be a good fit with him. I believe 100% that whoever gets Obo is going to get their money's worth and probably is going to be a bargain at a third or fourth round pick. And let me see here. We had a couple of comments on it. Let's take a look at the comments. We'll pull them up here on the computer. Andrew Southard, he went pure homer on it. Andrew Southard said, as a Sooner fan, I'd like to see all of our guys go early and get paid all they deserve. And then they do. They deserve it. But that's a complete homer. Way to step out on a limb, Andrew. Just joking, bud. And Sooner Mom said he's already proven himself. And in college, yeah, he has. But the NFL is going to be a different beast for him. But I think, again, if he goes that late, they're going to get, they're getting a bargain. One of my favorite topics, we're going to move on to the next one, is Orlando Brown, Zeus. Our question on Twitter was, what round will Orlando Brown be drafted in? Leave a comment and why you voted that way. And everybody knows that before the combines, he was, a shoe-in. Everybody said he's going to be a first-round pick. First-round pick. Well, he didn't. We all know the story. He didn't have a good combine. All the 14 reps on the bench and everything else, all this stuff. And then he had a really good pro day. His obviously from everything, it cost him money more than it cost him a chance to play in the NFL. Our choices for Orlando is he going to go in the first round, the second round, third round, or it doesn't matter. He's a beast. Again, one of my favorite ones. And 56% voted that he will go in the second round. I think that is a bargain. I think a lot of these combine type things, they measure some parts of your athleticism. They measure your athleticism. They don't measure your heart. I don't know why he didn't seem to, be prepared for it. What I do know is that everybody who stood out there and watched him in the combine has watched miles and miles and miles of tape, or miles and miles and miles of digital media on the guy. And there is no doubt he has the ability to have a long and strong career, in the NFL. And I would love him to move back up to the first round. I just think that's going to be on all the teams' minds, the combine. So he'll probably get stuck in there at the second round. And nobody knows really anywhere that I could find where they thought he would go. It's just any of the experts say, he's going to drop to second round and somebody's going to snag him up. So what did the fans on Twitter say? Okay, Andrew Southard, once again, went full homer on us. I'm voting first round every Sooner. They're all the greatest. Jive DeMayo thinks he'll drop to third. Unfortunately, I think the combine hurt him pretty bad. He's a monster and he's going to be a steal. Amen. That's what I feel. It doesn't, all that dropping is going to do is cost him money. It's not going to cost him a career. Sooner Mom said he's a beast. Yes, he is. Again, we're just talking about costing him some money. The real Christopher Long, probably second round, but I can see him in the late first. I think it would be surprising to see him in the late first, just simply because of that stigma that is out there. And a lot of stuff immediately after the draft. The draft combine, there was people questioned his heart. He didn't seem prepared. And I think that really stood out. But, again, I don't think it's going to matter. He's going to be in the NFL. And Die Hard is a New Year's movie, said early to mid second round. And I think that's probably where he'll go. Again, the combine cost him money. It didn't cost him a career. And all this stuff was made, the hoopla of, how poorly he did and so on and so forth. It cost him money. And, yeah, a lot of money, but, not so much that he, not going to be able to play football. So, and again, Zeus is going to have a great career in the NFL. And now on to the big one. The fourth and final poll was our man Baker Mayfield. And I've had some conversations on Twitter here the last several days about where he will go. And first off, let me just say this. Cleveland Browns, leave him alone. For the love of God and all things holy, do not draft Baker Mayfield. And I know some people disagree with me. They want him to go first round, and I understand that. They want him to be the first pick. They want him to, go up there and show, what he can do and turn that program, that team around, and all of these other things, which make perfect sense. As a fan, you want to see him do that. My personal opinion is the Cleveland Browns is a terrible organization. They've got a good coach. It made some good draft picks. But look at their history. They pop up for a little while and they pop back down. I don't like the organization. I don't like the Browns. I don't like their color because it's orange. But there's a lot of things about them that I do not like. And I forgot about this in our discussions on Twitter, was the new offensive coordinator is Todd Haley, who was the head coach at Kansas City and was the offensive coordinator at my Steelers. Now, Todd Haley is a horrible offensive coordinator. I hated watching him call plays. You could see the uncomfortableness on the sidelines with Big Ben. There was never any cohesiveness on that. And everything that I kept up with the Steelers, because I almost keep up with as much stuff on the Steelers as I do our Sooners, is he just wasn't very well liked. And his mentality is, I'm going to call these plays, and you're going to run them, and you're going to like them. And there was some issues this year, I know, and last year where Ben was checking out of his plays. So I'm not a big Todd Haley fan. I don't think Baker's would be a good fit there with Todd Haley. Listening to some stuff on the way down here to Dallas, some other podcasts that, at some point in time, every quarterback that's been under Todd Haley wants to fight him. So it's just not the fit for Baker. The other option is the New York Jets. I think, lifestyle and not really lifestyle. I'm thinking more of the marketability of Baker, the Jets fitting. I think that's where he could make the most money, not off of football necessarily, but we talked with Brandon on from the Football Brainiacs, kind of joking around, Broadway Baker, that fits, Manhattan, Mayfield, all those things. He will be able to thrive in that atmosphere up there, I think. The Denver Broncos is another option. Apparently, John Elway has a man crush on him. I listened to quite a bit of stuff and did some reading before I came on to record, and he's very infatuated with Baker. And then the Miami Dolphins. Surprisingly, 45% of the votes went to the New York Jets. And they're not a good team right now. It is a team that he can help turn around, but I think that is the best fit well, not necessarily the best fit, but I think, marketability wise and a chance to turn it around, because the Jets can turn it around. The Browns can't. And I say that, tongue in cheek, but the Browns only turn it around for a little while. Personally, I like the Miami Dolphins. I think that would be a good fit for him. They're up and coming. They were pretty good a couple of years ago. They're kind of in a rebuilding stage, and they really don't have a solid quarterback. But they're going to have to make some moves coming up from the 11 spot to get any chance for him. I don't think he'll be there at 11. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know the buzz around today. There was a buzz that the Browns put out apparently that there was interest there. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to generate some news. I would be shocked if he went number one. Not because I don't want him to, and don't because I want him to get paid and all that other stuff. I just don't think it's going to happen. And plus, again, it's not just the Steeler fan in me. It's the I just don't like that organization. You just look at the history, and their coach now. I'm doing this on my own, so it slips my mind his name. But I was listening to Pardon My Take, a podcast that I listen to quite a bit on the way down here to Dallas, and they talked about his great football mind, and and he, everybody likes him and talks about how he is turning that that system around. You know what? They had Bill Belichick. It was in the 90s, but I'm not a Belichick fan, but you can't argue with success. Maybe one of the best, minds in football right now. And he couldn't turn it around. He had a losing record. So, or just barely over 500. I can't remember. I was looking at it earlier, but they're just not the organization that I have any confidence in for any longevity. And, history, not that it shows that I'm right, it's just history just shows that. I mean, they just don't stay good very long. So I'm going to read the fan comments on it. Brandon Drum, who I brought up a while ago, said, asking Oklahomans, you'll get Broncos. Most are Cowboy, Chiefs, and Bronco fans. Yeah, but surprisingly, I think most people think, like I do, that's probably New York's probably going to be his best fit. I had to reply to that, I'm thinking Steelers, but that's not going to happen. I wish, but it's not. Let's see here. I got to click on something else here real quick on this. Coach B Sooner, who was on our podcast earlier this week. He's firm on the Browns until they prove me otherwise. So, he wants him to go number one. You heard Coach B on the podcast, and I get that. Again, I'm not going to dispute or tell anybody they're wrong. We all have our opinions, and that's what I love about doing this, is it's just an opinion. The Objective Homer said, Baker to Denver, but I'm being optimistic and a homer. The Jets made a move presumably for Baker, but here's hoping. And he put a picture up, that Baker Mayfield said, if John Elway asks you to join his team, you don't say no. I'm not a big Broncos fan, so I would say no, but, that's just me. Brett Rice said, because Baker Mayfield is phenomenal and the Browns need someone to pull them out of the toilet, they'll use that number one to get him. Andrew Southard. Let's see. I'm guessing we're going to get a homer one again. Just joking, Andrew. It says Jets would be good fit. I'm hoping for praying for anywhere but the Browns. Thank you, Andrew. Would love to see him be a Packer, but that ain't happening. Nope, that's not happening. Thunder and Sooner 405 says, I want Miami, but not sure if they have or are willing to give up what will take to draft him. And that's going to be the issue. I agree with that, Thunder and Sooner 405. If he drops, I believe they'll take him. Definitely going to be interesting. Been a long time coming. Yeah, it would surprise me that he would drop to number 11, but it's not out of the question. And not for any other reason than you keep hearing, the intangible of, the unsteadiness, the off the field issues. I don't really think that's as big of an issue as these coaches really like his competitiveness. So we'll see. The Unicorn, a Sooner fan, says, no way he isn't a Jet. No one picking that high in need of a quarterback is going to leave Baker Mayfield despite NFL's Live listing him on the buyers beware. Yeah, that's I'm a firm believer right now that the buyers beware status is to have a conversation. There would not be teams talking about him first, second, third, fourth, fifth pick, 11th pick. If it was a buyer's beware, they would leave him alone and he would drop down and nobody would be talking to him. So the NFL's buyer's beware is to get ratings. That's my opinion. Guido Simplici. Baker is the only one that can get the job done in Cleveland. And Squanto says, I honestly think the Jets will take him, but hoping for Denver. Yeah, I think everybody's on the same page here with the Jets. So I appreciate everybody, or we appreciate everybody participating in our polls. We also had another one, not a poll, but we had a deal that today is DNA Day. And I put out a deal to show your OU fan DNA, and we got some pretty good little pictures and stuff, post a pic on it. But that's really about all I have. I wish Rob would have been able to be on or make the trip. We were going to try to do it by phone, but we ended up coming down here. We left at the right time and got here at the wrong time. I hate Texas. I hate Dallas. I hate Dallas traffic. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, you Sooner fans who love the Dallas Cowboys. I cannot stand the Dallas Cowboys. I just flat out hate Texas. The traffic here was horrible. It was raining. And I haven't been down here in a while and drove down 35E in a while. It's been a couple of years. And I used to come down here all the time for meetings and such. My job just hadn't pulled me down here in quite a while. But they are still doing road construction everywhere here. It's ridiculous. But that's just my, hating on Texas and hating on Dallas. It's just ridiculous coming down here. But anyway, what our plans are tomorrow is my wife Teresa and we're going to get down and, walk around the NFL draft facilities, and I may try a 40-yard dash, see if I can beat a sundial in the 40-yard dash, see what my 40 time, if it's improved since I was 18. And then there's other things that are there, and we're just going to walk around, kind of enjoy the day, and hopefully the draft is free to get in, but it's kind of like a lottery. So you stand around when they start letting folks in, and they basically send you a text, and you got 30 minutes to go get a ticket and to claim your spot. So hopefully that we're going to get in for the first round. It'd be great. It'd be a cool experience. But so we can witness the draft. If we don't happen to get into it and we're watching it on the outside, I know that the franchise sports, Sam and Kobe, they're going to be down here close by somewhere, or maybe even at the draft. I can't remember. We may go over and hang out on that end and talk with those fellas. But on Friday, I'm going to have a little mobile with me, and whoever did draft Baker, whether it be the Browns or the Jets or the Steelers, whoever did draft him, I'm going to hunt up their fans, and I'm going to ask their opinion and what they think and what they want, and then we'll have that podcast for you guys of the team that drafted Baker's fans. What did they have to say about it? So I'm looking forward to getting that stuff to you. But that's it for our NFL draft podcast. Hope you enjoyed just listening to me. I again appreciate everybody's comments and voting in our polls. And, we all wish the Sooners the best of luck in tomorrow night's draft. And I do believe that we'll all be happy with where they're at, and we'll be, cheering for their success. Even if they play against our teams, we always want our Sooners to do well. And but it's a big opportunity, and it's a big deal for this university and this state to see guys doing as well as they are. So our hats are off to you guys. But until our next podcast, this is Terry and Boomer Sooner Football Fan. Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.